New microphone.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Squares for Squares. I'm Neil. Just to remind everybody out there what we do on this show, we review comic books that are released each week, and we determine what are the best books released if you have a budget of $20. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be looking at Batman White Knight number 7. This is released by DC Comics. It is $3.99. It's written by Sean Gordon Murphy. Art is also done by Sean Gordon Murphy, as well as the covers, and colors by Matt Hollingsworth. So just to get everybody up to speed at where we are in the story, in the previous issue we saw the second version or copy Harley, I don't know, aka Marion Drews, aka now Neo Joker, and her army of mind-controlled supervillains by way of injecting a mind-controlled Clayface into, I don't know, it's crazy how they put together this mind-control substance and actually got all the supervillains in Gotham under the control of first Joker, now this Neo Joker. But anyway, she's used the supervillains to unearth this Nazi-aged freeze-tech gigantic railgun, and has used it to essentially freeze all of Gotham, with a note requesting that the Joker be returned. We also find out in the previous issue sort of her motives behind wanting the Joker to come back. Apparently, Marion Drews was a depressed banker, or teller, or bank teller, or accountant. I'm not really sure what her job there was, but she worked at a bank, and was a cutter. And one day she was going to end it all. She actually went as far as to see how many customers it would take her to bleed out and die. And during this, the Joker attacks the bank. But instead of fleeing, she actually assists the Joker, and he begins to call her Harley. And she begins to adapt this new identity of Harley Quinn. And she tells the history of their relationship. And we get to learn that essentially the Joker is the only person in her life that has ever cared for her in any way. And that's really the motives behind wanting the Joker back so badly. However, the Joker, aka Jack Napier, now has absolutely no desire to go back to being the Joker. He's in control, he's very intelligent. Harley Quinn, the original Harley Quinn, has taught him how to fight. He's in shape. He's doing pretty well, but we start to see that the drugs are not working for him anymore, or are losing their effect. And in the last issue, he loses complete control and becomes the Joker again. In this issue, we see that he somewhat has control over these changes, but he's coughing up blood, and in really bad shape mentally, to the point where Harley's even questioning if he's still in control, even when he's Jack. We also see that Batman is behind bars at Arkham Asylum, and this is because he, in the last issue, was arrested by way of a elaborate plan by the Gotham Terrorist Oppression Unit, part of the GCPD, and by Jack Napier himself, who confronts and beats up Batman, knocks him out, and takes him in. However, as we find out from the original Harley in a conversation with Batman, Jack really needs Batman to fully secure Gotham City and maintain order. And basically says that Jack will come to him at a certain point and ask to team up to do that. Which is exactly what happens in this case. We see the cell doors open and Jack comes in. Poor Batman's locked up, obviously, because he wants to be locked up. He could easily escape that. I think he really wants to see what's going on with Jack and whether or not he's genuinely looking to help Gotham City. So Jack asks Batman for his help as Harley had prophesized, and Batman agrees to help him with one caveat, that Jack turn himself in and confess to burning the library down and mind controlling the supervillains. Jack agrees to this, but with a caveat of his own. He says in no way is Harley to be blamed for any of this, and he wants to take the full rap for all of the wrongdoings on his part. Batman agrees to his caveat, but with a caveat of his own, and says that he'll agree to that only if he tells him what happened to Jason Todd. So in their ride back to Gotham City PD, we see Jack recall what happened to Jason Todd through the eyes of his other personality, the Joker. And we find out the reason why Jason was captured and tortured, all the death in the family, was because the Joker was jealous of the relationship that Batman and Jason had. Essentially, he wanted to be the sidekick of Batman, and breaks him to the point, he being Jason, pronouns pal, he breaks him to the point that he actually reveals the identity of Batman. The Joker asks him what his last words would be, and Jason says, "I wish I had never met Bruce Wayne." And we also find out in the same conversation between Jack and Batman that Jason is still alive. And the reason the Joker left him alive was for this very instance, so that Batman would find out that Jason gave him up, and Jason never wanted to be Robin and really hated him for making him become Robin. Just to sort of, twist the knife into Batman's heart. Batman is noticeably stunned by learning this, and learning that Jack now knows that he is Bruce Wayne. But Jack soon reveals that he already knew that Batman was Bruce Wayne when he was investigating the Batman Disaster Relief Fund. So we get to see just how smart Jack has become by way of gaining his sanity. Essentially, he is the mirror image of Batman, or Batman himself at this point. The story then continues at Gotham City PD, where we see Mr. Freeze discussing the schematics of the tunnels used during the post-World War II era to move materials underground Gotham City and build this railgun that Neo Joker has used. We also see Batman bring in a fleet of his Batmobiles, one of which is the 1989 Michael Keaton Batmobile, hell yes, and arms the GTO with these Batmobiles, and they develop a plan to breach the tunnels and take out the railgun. But as the issue comes to a close, we see Jack losing control of himself again and becoming the Joker, which prompts Batman to demand that he maintain oversight of Jack during the course of the mission. And as we come to the close of the issue, we see the Batmobiles all driving down Gotham's roadways ready to infiltrate these tunnels. And during the conversation that Batman and Jack have in the car, we see Jack revert back into the Joker persona. So a couple things with this issue. Number one, the art. As always, Sean Gordon Murphy is untouchable to me right now. Pretty much everything that he touches is just amazing. I really enjoyed his work on this issue and throughout this entire series. If you have any interest in his art, Tokyo Ghost is amazing. And his work that he did with Scott Snyder called The Wake Also amazing artwork. The story's really good here too. I would say it's right up there with Long Halloween, and I know I'm going to get some flack for saying this, but Dark Knight Returns. But really, I think it's like one of the best Batman stories they've had in a very long time. One of the sad things in this book is that, have we seen the last of Jack Napier? Is he truly gone? Is it just the Joker now? I think another good part of this story is where we finally get to see sort of the human side of Batman during the story with Jason Todd. You can really see that what Jack has told him has kind of cut him deep. Because throughout this story, from issue 1 on to this issue, Batman has been mean. He's very jaded, stoic, no nonsense, really not showing any emotion whatsoever. So it's good to see that there's still a man behind the mask. The other question I had when reading this book is Jack really Jack? And what I mean by that is this all just Joker's elaborate plot? Did he wake up one morning and think to himself, look, if I become sane, that's the one way that I'm going to finally get rid of Batman? And has the Joker been in control all this time? Is this just an act? Are the pills placebo? Like, I'm really starting to question whether or not Jack Napier, the persona Jack Napier, is truly authentic, or is just the machinations of the Joker. The other thing I have questions about is Batman says he's going to hang up his cowl and just be Bruce Wayne. I don't see how that's going to happen. I think in large part his Bruce Wayne persona is no longer there. So I'm curious to see how that plays out in issue number 8. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. I want to thank everybody for watching, who watched. The very small few of you that are out there. But if you liked the video, rate it, write a review, subscribe most importantly, and really let me know what you thought. I'm going to go ahead and in the comments leave the Comixology link like I always do, as well as the comic book store finder link. And I will see you guys next time when we review The Immortal Man. Goodbye.